Hello students of 7th standard, we have started the lessons plant structure and function, and in that we have come to the last point, that is nothing but the, you can say, parts of the flowers. So see this, here I have drawn one picture. That picture is nothing but a, you can say, VS of a hibiscus flower. VS means what? Vertical section of a hibiscus flower. Now, what does it contain? See here. Flowers may have a long or short stalk called as a pedicel. So, see, this is nothing but a pedicel. What does it tell us here? Flowers may have a long or a short stalk which is called as a pedicel. One end of the pedicel is attached to the stem. Now this end is attached to the stem. That is nothing but one end of the pedicel is attached to the stem. The other end of the pedicel is expanded and solar. Now see here, the other end, whichever you see, it is nothing but expanded, or you can say it is solar. Then see, it is called as a receptacle. This is called as a receptacle. Then see, the petals and other parts of the flowers are supported on the receptacle. That means here the petals and other parts of the flowers, they are supported on this receptacle. That means receptacles acts as a stage for these things. Then see, they are nothing but calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, and different parts of the flower. The receptacle supports the following parts. These parts are nothing but calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, and different parts of the flowers. Now we are going to see the different parts of the flowers. See here, first is calyx. See here, calyx comes here. Then see, in a bud condition, the petals are covered by a leaf-like parts called as a sepals. Then see, which are green in color. So these are green in color. So see, these are called as a petals and they are green in color. The next point is, that is nothing but corolla. This is made up of colorful parts which is called as a petals. Observe the shape of the color and observe the shape, color and smell of the corolla. See, corolla is nothing but a very colorful, you can say, part of the flower. Then see, various flowers you have to observe like rose, chrysanthemum, hibiscus, mogra, paneer and tagar. So these all, you can say, flowers contains very nice smell and very colorful corolla they are having. Next comes the androecium. This is a male reproductive part of the flower. What is androecium? Androecium is nothing but a male reproductive part of the flower. It consists of stamens. Each stamen consists of anther and filament. See here, each stamen consists of anther and filament. Then see next one, gynoecium. This is the female reproductive part of the flower. This is nothing but a whole, this part is called as a gynoecium. This is nothing but a from here up till here. This is called as a female reproductive part of the flower. This is made up of carpel. It consists of stigma, style and ovary. It consists of stigma, style, and this is nothing but a ovary. So the whole part is nothing but a gynoecium. Take a vertical section of a hibiscus flower. So what you have to do, you have to take a vertical section of a hibiscus flower with the help of a sharp blade and cutting the flower vertically from the stigma pedicel. What you have to do? Both the sections of the flower you have to observe. Whenever you observe that, you see the various parts of the flowers. See here. After maturity, anthers burst and pollen grains which are released fall on the stigma. What does this tells us? That whenever the maturity is attained, at that time the anthers, you can say, burst, and as the anther bursts, the pollen grains from it comes out, and whenever they are released, they fall onto the stigma. Stigma is nothing but the female reproductive organ. See here, this process is called as a pollination. What it is called? It is called as a pollination. Due to pollination, ovules, or you can say egg cells in the ovary get fertilized. How they get fertilized? The pollen grains fall onto the, you can say, onto the stigma, and these pollen grains reach the ovary and makes the ovary fertilized. Fertilized ovules form the seeds and ovary develops into a fruit. What is happening here? The fertilized ovules form the seeds and the ovary develops into the fruit. How this happens? Whenever the pollen grains fall onto the stigma, with the style they reach to the ovary, and whenever they are reaching to the ovary, they get fused with the ovary and there is a formation of a seeds and ovary develops into the fruit. Now next here, the last point is nothing but a fruit. We eat many different types of fruits. In our daily life, we eat different types of fruits. Each type of a fruit has its own characteristics. Whenever you see that each type of a fruit has its own characteristics, means some are sour, some are bitter, or some are, you can say, very sweet. Like this, they are having their own characteristics, own colors they are having, own shape they are having. See here, there are variations in the shape, color, taste. You see these fruits into the variations in their shape, color and taste. Mango contains only one seed, whereas jackfruit consists of many small fruitlets, each with its own seed. So what does this tells us? Mango is a fruit which contains only one seed, but jackfruit contains many seeds, but these seeds are enclosed in a small fruitlets. Observe the fruits of a bear, which is called as a ziziphus, mango, chiku, apple. What do you observe? Each fruit has a different skin or a shell. Observe the different types of the fruits. For example, you can say bear, mango, chiku, apple. So what do you observe in that? Whenever you observe that each fruit has a different skin or a shell, it has a fleshy part and a seeds. Each and every fruit is having a fleshy part and it is having seeds. The seeds may be one or the seeds may be many. Then see, in case of fruits like cashew, its seed is outside the fruit. Sometimes you see the fruits are having the seeds inside them, or sometimes the fruits are having the seeds outside the fruit. For example, you can see the cashew which has the seed outside the fruit. Then here, soak the seeds of a pea, wheat, rice, jowar, groundnut in water for 3 to 4 hours. What you have to do? You have to soak the seeds. That means you have to take little water and you have to put the seeds of pea, wheat, rice, jowar, groundnut into the water for 3 to 4 hours. Now you have to press the seed with your finger. Now the seed, whenever it is soaked, it divides into parts, equal parts. Now seeds which get divided into equal parts are called as a dicotyledonous seeds. The seeds which get divided into two parts is called as a dicotyledonous seeds. Di means two, cotyledonous means cover. Then see, seeds which do not divide into equal parts are called as a monocotyledonous seed. In this way, today we have seen the fruit, or you can say we have seen the flower. In flower we have seen the various, you can say, parts that are nothing but calyx, corolla, then gynoecium, androecium we have seen, where calyx is nothing but a green part or which supports all of the whorls of the flowers. Then corolla is a, you can say, very colorful or very green, very colorful part or very smelling part. It is having different colors, it is having different smells that we have seen. Gynoecium is nothing but a, you can say, female reproductive part. It has style, stigma and ovary. Then androecium, it has anther and filament. It is nothing but a, you can say, a male part. Then we have also seen fruit. In fruit we have seen the various seeds, or you can say how the fruit it has a fleshy or colorful shape, size and structure, or you can say smell. Then we have seen about the seeds also. Seeds are monocotyledonous or dicotyledonous. Dicotyledonous means the seeds gets divided into two parts, and monocotyledonous means the seed is not divided into parts. This is the end of your chapter.